kuvunja mitambo hii. Hadi kutuzuia tusiweze kuongea na nyinyi. Wako na chama lakini sisi tuna wanachama.
Mwananchi, how are you doing? I hope you are doing good. I'm also good. Now, it's a new week. We have to try new things and so on. But yesterday was on a Sunday, and actually it's funny such that in Kenya nowadays Sundays we don't speak of churches, Bible verses. It is just a high octane politics. It's quite a interesting fact. Anyway, yesterday there's this brigade, the anti-broad-based government brigade, that is the likes of Sifuna, Osotsi, Babuino, Kalibamisi, and the likes, and others. They were in Kitengela, Kajiado County, and a lot happened. The script was the same. That is, anyone who opposes the government, send the government, teargas them, and do all that shenanigans. We always know what happens every day, and in every time anybody who opposes the government has to face the music. So the step one was orchestrated. That is the teargassing step. I know if that faction continues, the step 2 will be put into place. That is the arresting and abduction step. Okay, this story was done by Citizen. Let's listen to it before we continue.
Now, several people were injured as the ODM Edwin Sifuna-led Linda Mwananchi rally in Kitengela in Kajiado County ended prematurely, where the tear gas canister was lobbed.
The disruption coming moments after the Orange Democratic Movement Secretary General warned that there were plans to interfere with the planned rally in Kitengela, where other leaders, including ODM's Deputy Leader Godfrey Otsotsi and the Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino, as well as the Siaya Governor James Orengo, vowed to support Sifuna's opposition to the ODM-UDA pre-election pact.
That's right. Let's begin our broadcast now with our very own Seth Olale.
Explosion, tear gas and shots fired at Edwin Sifuna-led ODM Linda Mwananchi rally in Kitengela, Kajiado County. The huge crowd ran helter-skelter, and several attendees were left injured. The Sifuna-led ODM Leader Mwananchi convoy that also included ODM's Deputy Party Leader Godfrey Otsotsi, Embakasi East MP Babu Owino, Siaya Governor James Orengo, being forced to exit the venue in half. The rally attendees descending on a nearby police vehicle with stones. The standoff between the youth and security officers lasting more than an hour, with business and transportation paralyzed. The chaos erupting after the ODM Secretary General warned of plans to disrupt the Kitengela rally.
Wakora waliingia kwa stage yetu asubuhi wakavunja mitambo hii. Hadi kutuzuia tusiweze kuongea na nyinyi.
The ODM Linda Mwananchi faction vowing to support Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna in opposing the Orange Party pre-election pact with President William Ruto's UDA.
Wako na chama lakini sisi tuna wanachama. Wakienda State House wanawacha vijana wapi? Wakienda State House wanawacha wamama wapi? Wamekula pesa kwenda kuuza chama na hatutakubali. Sasa wale wengine wanajaribu kuuza chama cha ODM kwa Ruto. Tunawaambia Bwana Ruto, kama umewapatia deposit, waambie kurudishia pesa yako.
earlier, the leaders who attended a church service at the ACK St. Peter's Olkeju, Kisaju, Kajiado County vowed to sustain their push to remain in the opposition despite alleged threats to oust them from the Orange Party leadership positions.
Hata wapeleke watu jela wangapi, sisi tutakomboa nchi hii inaitwa Kenya.
Mkitoka Kitengela mtatolewa tena kwa committee. Muwe tayari. Every rally has casualties.
Hata iwapo tutachorewa, hata iwapo tutapangiwa, Bwana ndiye mchungaji wetu.
The Edwin Sifuna-led ODM Linda Mwananchi faction says it will not be intimidated even as it extends its political rallies to Kakamega County next weekend. Seth Olale, Citizen TV, Kitengela, Kajiado County.
That's Kenyan politics for you. Okay, now before we get serious, I have a small story. There was once a school where the principal suspended one noisy student, thinking the class would finally have peace. But guess what happened? The next day, half the school came wearing wristbands written, "I am that student." The quiet ones became loud. The backbenchers became leaders. The suspended student became a legend. Now, welcome to Kenyan politics. Because what happened in Kitengela, Kajiado County, looks exactly like that story, except that the student is Edwin Sifuna and the principal is the system around William Ruto and sections of ODM. Now, not so long ago, I said removing Sifuna as ODM SG would backfire. Why? Because politics is emotional capital. The moment you punish someone for standing on principle, especially when that person publicly said, even if ODM supports Ruto in 2027, I will not vote for him. You don't weaken him. You baptize him. Kitengela was not normal. When Sifuna, Babu Owino, James Orengo, Godby Osotsi, and Caliber Mrs. stormed Kajiado, that was not just a rally. That was branding. Citizen TV itself framed it as Sifuna-led ODM Rebels Part rally. Translation: he is no longer just a Secretary General. He is now a movement. And those Mimi Ndio Sifuna t-shirts, that's political symbolism 101. That is how movements start. That's how Raila Odinga built his legend. Street energy, plus moral defiance, plus police overreaction. Then, when you just think that this time round he will think straight, Ruto did the unthinkable. Police teargas on a Sunday, on a peaceful rally. If you are trying to suppress someone's visibility, you don't amplify them with smoke grenades and primetime coverage. That's politics 101. Every teargas canister is free publicity. Every viral clip is campaign material. Whoever advised that move needs performance appraisal. Because now the narrative is simple. They are afraid of him. And once the public smells fear from power, sympathy shifts. Why this is dangerous for Ruto? Yes, the deeper issue. Sifuna was already the loudest anti-broad-based voice inside ODM. He did not support Ruto from the beginning. Now, you've removed his seat at the table, which means he has nothing to lose. And politicians with nothing to lose are the most dangerous. If this evolves into an ODM faction split, you don't just get internal drama. You get a fresh opposition voice, youth sympathy, nostalgia energy, media oxygen, and in politics, oxygen is currency. Then there's the Raila deja vu factor. Let's be honest, the crowd in Kitengela was not just about Sifuna. It was about a vacuum. Since Raila's passing, many ODM grassroots supporters have felt politically homeless. Leadership feels boardroom heavy. Sorry, not bedroom. That makes me remember Winnie saying that ODM will not be discussing bedrooms. Anyway, Leadership feels boardroom heavy, not street heavy. When Sifuna stands on a pickup and speaks fire, that reminds them of something familiar. Whether you like it or not, emotionally, that matters. The strategic mistake is that if the intention was to silence him, it failed. If the intention was to discipline him, it radicalized him. If the intention was to weaken him, it branded him. That is political miscalculation. Kenyan politics is funny. You remove someone on Monday, by Sunday, he has a slogan, march, viral clips, and a sympathy wave. Ati mimi ndio Sifuna. At this rate, next week, borders will have stickers. What happens next? There are two possibilities. The movement fizzles if momentum is not sustained. That is, if they stop their rallies. It grows, especially if the state keeps overreacting, because repression feeds rebellion, always. Kenyan politics rewards defiance, and right now, whether planned or accidental, Sifuna is riding the defiance wave. Was removing him a masterstroke, or the beginning of a new opposition chapter? That's the real question. If you enjoy this kind of deep but real Kenyan political breakdown with facts, vibes and zero sugarcoating, subscribe to HiiStory, because we don't just report politics, we read the chessboard. And right now, the board just shifted. Bye.